Zebras, Zebralakalazar, Rhythmic Science Journal. Consciousness, awareness of how nature operates, internalized understanding about human behavior, human psychology, meaning social neurology, the human world or the human society, and the natural world on a full body level. Therefore, one can always become more conscious until death. Science, attempting to understand the nature, understanding something of the nature, applying the understanding of the nature, provably by demonstration and or measurement. Mysticism, feeling into the nature, communicating with the nature, understanding something of the nature through one's own experiences. Magic, developing such an intimate, objective consciousness of the nature that changes can be suggested in concordance, agreement, or concourse with the nature herself. Zebra's principal sciences, eco-neuropsychophysiology. Number 1. Zebra's true neurolinguistics. Emphasis on the reverse engineering department of neurolinguistics. 2. Advanced morphogenetics, Mount Flack ecobiology, or genetic resonance. 3. Vibology, the science of instinct. 4. Anthrocultoconspiriology, conspiratorial science, or Zebra's anthropology, the science of conspiracies. 5. Guavaceuticals and Java amphetamines, Zebra's chemical shamanistic drug sciences. 6. Soak, Zebra sociology. 7. Fuck science, Zebra's sexual science. 8. Zebra's reverse black magic science. And 9. Zebra physics. One reason I say these are all sciences is I can create studies for all of them based on everything I'm understanding about what I'm communicating. Motto operandi of True and L. Poets bend the English language. I, Zebra, am going to break the English language. Sponsoring the Zebra Physics Foundation Factory. Zebra's first psychedelic compounds / synthesis. The birth of guavaceuticals. It's more about the vibe. Mad guava. No OD limit. If there's no toxicity, an OD can't happen. Class, guava-C. Duration, 15 minutes to an hour. Administration, by sewing needle to the left of veins on left wrist. Should be a granny's yarn kit sewing needle. The recipe for mad guava in a mortar and pestle. Number 1, the urine of ants, a lot of it. 2, ink squirts of any Japanese squid, some. 3. Black dandruff from dandelions. 4. Poofs, pink frilled dandelion-esque flowers in whole, swims and puffs together. 5. As an aside, formula for Juba beetle family guano. Horned ants, the ones with the mind control fingers growing out of their craniums on animal shows. The parasitical fungus plant that they are toxically bound to on a Juba beetle's backside. Shave the parasitical plant cheese block over the horned ants atop the beetle. Though this requires an ant sacrifice, the excrement should help cure whatever is causing them to self-destructively seek the takeover suicide sauce. Then tickle the beetle's chin after the horned ants are sacrificed to produce evacuation of the deeper bowels. Should come out greener. Then insert in mortar and pestle. Can also use the cousin beetles. Number 6, half full with purified water. 7, altogether, mix, dab, and jab. Guava. Redefinition of morphogenetic resonance. Two gene codes interacting through vibes electromagnetically to produce a third result. His true number one science of many has to do with the jagglings and reorganizations of words in the brains. It's still an early phase of evolution. Ah! Psychology should be replaced by my true neurolinguistics. Read Elephant Tusk. Particle Z. Quark/tachyons measure the same size. In between, on a further nanoscopic level, particle Z. Tachyons determine the wave vector collapse of superpositions by retroactive causation measurable up to 3 to 5 seconds. And the principle of retroactive causation is active in particle Z for measurements up to 500 years. Connect a quark and a tachyon in a particular and specific way and produce particle ZX. I'm sure the back lobes process reality information at least 5,000 speed to 10,000 speed to the front lobes, slow mode. It's definitely and undefinitely more about the vibes. Scientific innovations, projects, 25 Nobels. A-1, immortality, longevity, preliminary research. Ingredient 1, 2.5 grams extracted psilocin from Psilocybe cubensis. For replacement temporarily of bonding neurotransmitters in certain lobes. Whole brain accurate map is a conglomeration of lobes. Amygdala, corpus callosum, and other such organs of neurological exam model, most if not all of them are fabricated. To fortify religion and science against the poison of God, as are the star maps, celestial calendars, and various other pseudoscientific hubris extensions of impossible knowledge at the current stage of evolution. An impossible measurement at the current stage of evolution. Stars are not distant suns. For the most part, they're actually a species of celestial bodies, similar to tiny wormholes or something, for the most part. Nature is specific to particular relations and instances in space and time. But there is no such thing as space. It's microfibers, filaments, subatomic, dark matter subspectrum, organic material of the infinite universe. A-2, genotype fluid from microbiology preliminary research. This is the second ingredient in the preliminary immortality research. The genotype fluid done by my cousin Jordan Jarjor, aka another failed, renounced Mufasa case. At the time of this jot, since updated perhaps, among the friends, buddies, and families which constitute the Havers, Jarjors, Chrismans, Bennets, or whatever, renounced by kinship, alphabetically, categorically, and completely, zoologically, A to Z, tit for tit, tally for tally, down the line, numerologically, 1, 2, 3, and 4, X, Y, and Z, etc. For being among Zebra's hard abusers. Some in the Haver Lodge, full coverage life insurance policies in a bullshit context. Foundationless claims. Joe George, my favorite cousin, followed by pottery wheel fuckface Hontro Craftsman on that Mackie Dack DeMarcio Twangy Wangy. Maximilian Miami needs psychedelic face wash. Too much Susie Ascension Surfers astral body aerobics transmitted from Ponce de Tolle Obra, masquerading as insight through a trust experience, probably cloaking early molestation. Anyhow, used in leg, cankle, slashed ankle, and gunshot wound, pediatric pediological genocode restoration, and highly classified due to controversial subject matter, possibly of too many cures, used in preliminary research protocols to the withheld malaria vaccine. Sidebar announcement. Another terminable case of too much sweetness. Death to Ave's middle school crush high. Don't stand in the motherfucking way of the divine marriage of Zebra, the true king of the clandestine esoteria revolutionary eco group. Throughout all aeons and ages, leading up the time spiral throughout human history, to be continued. An immortal wifey Grimes, the singer Claire, who channels the celestial music of the spheres. Grr, and my true immortal wifey, hot planetary body wife, Sophia, baby. Ingredient 3, jellyfish DNA. All 99.99% of jellyfish are actually genetically immortal, and failed stem cell cancer groups conceal this matter. 2.5 grams extracted psilocin from psilocybe cubensis to 2.5 grams organic mushroom matter. Experimental genotype fluid restoration from preliminary work on malaria vaccine. Number 3, jellyfish DNA. Psilocybin X. Altogether, psilocybin X. And to form a syringe shot and to test subject 1, zebra's left forearm, because I survived cyanide and a quadruple lethal dose. Recommended mad guava dosage, 12 to 15 consecutive pins of any amount. It's likely with the advent of guavaceuticals, humanimals can in the future develop sonar, like underappreciated birds and dolphins. It would have to be seeded in like the mad guava children, generation to generation for sure, in the genome. I can figure out how to selectively breed boys against girls in the female womb. I'm keeping this as ransom for my life. Also, it's possible to generate a hermaphrodite. I refuse to generate a hermaphrodite, legitimately and physically, for a pedophile or sexually abusive parent, but only for any family that will allow me to teach them how to have an enjoyably unique life experience based on one account on a unique kind of orgasming once they've reached a particular age. Not sexually, but sweetly and compassionately in a physical, not spiritual or metaphysical manner. The primary effect the primary effects of seeding in mad guava into children prior to the fetal womb will include a constant propensity for immersion in a Sherazade, quite like mine, only in terms of my singular alignment with my own true purpose and inspiration and passion and great motivation and better orgasms. Maximo Silla Guava C, technically the second guava class C guavaceutical. Ingredients 1, shavings of red Australian corals found dried and washed up. 2, pus of Antarctic sea urchins drying on ship bottoms, for instance. 3, a lemon tech, 2.5 grams cubensis lemon juice with 10,000 milligrams vitamin C soluble. 4, original mad guava recipe added in. Recommended dosage for Maximo Silla Guava C, 1 entire pin syringe, 250 cc. It's a lot. You can just use the entire mixture too. Women Tech will potentiate any psilocybin mushroom roughly 5 times over with instant release within 3 to 17 minutes. This has to do with indeterminate determinacy, the true measurable property of the collapse of the wave vector, and if seeded into future babies by way of Maximo Silla Guava C, a psychedelic style of evolutionary orgasms. A phase contribution to zebra physics subspecific science of mad guava at my command is definitely the root of all Gnosticism. At some point during the Mad Guava experience, she focused on the terrifying sense that as a shrimpy, wimpy bitch, you're being directly threatened by a positive change, and directly threatened by a wee wild's jungle's carnivorous, venom shooting, madcap box and arrowhead, Jumanji's movie human chowing, hissing beastly flower on the wall without any walls to protect you. This is surely an actual gene memory, 100,000 years old. The fall of man for sure. A phase Christo Columbus discovery on the Mad Guave. Gnosticism is the root of all evil. It's true given a certain situation. Not Gnosticism, the ROOT is Gnosticism. Radioactive, oligarchical ominization of tree lines. I proved quantum theory. By yelling into CCTV cameras, microsurveillance, Zuck-Tech, Must-Tech, and True-Tech nanocams, a secondary art form of the extreme individualist church, abbreviated yelling at CCTV cameras, as with many spontaneous and hap-randomized innovate rappings. Gallagher cannot rap, write, or draw for shit. He can't even edit and barely reads to sustain his connection to the Trump field as a serial murderer. Which his number one accomplice, Casey M. Jones, snuff film auteur on dark web, and pedophile Bitcoin crypto king of failed Doge, pedophile currency essentially. And he, hilariously, tragically, the genre of the current stage of human evolution, in terms of their 100% proven to zebra retarded functioning. In all terms, operational standpoints and space-time alignments, undeveloped attunements, and underdeveloped individualisms inside, as Jung clumsily, cryptically, and as always morosely didn't put it right, to the general detriment of sci-fi perceived as science by scientism and psychiatric basket cases. Those quarks blinking on and off, they aren't disappearing and reappearing. They're revealing a dark matter substrate of organic material. You just got synthesized 100 years of data. Gravitation effects seem to have something to do with the distribution of planetary bodies, impacting biological systems on this planet, like centrifugal force on a whirly lash spinner at a carnival, similar in feeling to the interstellar relativity time dilation scene, and also electromagnetism of like particles between the biological systems and the planet herself. Gnosticism as the ROOT root of black magic brain disorder. Radioactive oligarchical omnicization of tree lines, aka, according to zebra physics, dysphoria, dysphoria 1 and dysphoria 2, dys 1 and dys 2. Dysphoria defo. The progressive neural deterioration generalized in all brain systems specifically due to being a Devon and or a Petrosa. Continued scientific Latin. Continued in particulars and specifics. By keeping up approximately beyond a quotient of roughly and relatively 10 to 15 differing fronts, the wiring functions of the human organism operated through the brain, an important organ like all organs, since if vestigial organs existed besides the lodge, nature, meaning the female universe, and the planetary sentient Sophia would wipe them out herself, will nearly intractably to maximally, nearly intractably crisscross wire in a convoluted manner, such that true insanity, the utmost, downmost extreme of zebra spectrum of human insanity at the current time, will manifest completely, to be completely severed from one's senses. Dysphoria equals 10 to 15 fronts times time. The telling, chillingly absurd, retarded side of Dysphoria 1 is that even after all of one's deeds behind a level of access, the happy-faced Joe mask, are wrung out and driven through the wall of public media, the dysphoric Devon and or Petrosia cannot even perceive the fact due to their own surety and everlasting manifest dues owed to their own media narrative that they've been found out, even when confronted with undeniable sensory evidence, flaccid lack of holding sway, and the retaliation. This Dysphoria 1 or Dys 1 means as a first-hand participant in a conspiracy dependent on black magic, the science of deceiving others about true actions and intentions, mainly by rituals and coordinated banking fraternity secrecy. The number of fronts, faces, or masks, each for a particular situation, sustain one's ability as a Devon and or a Petrosa to deceive the masses about matters typically as horrendous as human sacrifice and the insta-filters and vintages of rape. Dysphoria 2 or Dis2 means as a second-hand participant in a conspiracy, coordinated, artificial, and fraudulent moral dilemma, particular to the conspiracy, sustaining the upper wall or levels of access, the happy-faced Joe mass, and the Devons and or Petrosas behind it, usually by an in-group, out-group plug-in in the mutable hardware of the brain's neurolinguistic programming based on upholding righteousness in terms of the moral dilemma particular to the conspiracy. As a believable activist in the dilemma's rumor field problems, the numbers of fronts, faces, and masks sustains one's ability to convince oneself and others of a role-play, LARP, and fanfic position, so that further autonomatization to develop a further autonomy and independence can be avoided. Like Steve Reich and Jazz on acid and an 8-ball. Further jungle juice, Zebralakalazar, Sherazade, Guavaceutical Class B. Zora, effect, extreme synesthesia and a musical brain. In a mortar and pestle in any order. Number 1. Orange brownie jumping spider spit. A lot. Tickle with an ostrich feather. Pluck gently on its asshole for 10 minutes straight for optimal spit. 2. Aloe vera leaves. 1 pound crushed by meat pounder in a big M&P. 3 goji berries blended with organic, really organic, no pesticides, blueberries, banana chips dried, and raspberries dried and frozen, with a glop of oat milk butter. Raspberries 3 pounds, banana chips 3 ounces only, bee berries 3 to 5 pounds, depending on mood, a true submeasurement of vibes. Oat milk butter 3 tablespoons, copper if possible for the scooper cup at least. GG berries, GJ berries. Goji berries, 10 pounds, mashed and blended and mashed with barefoot Jew stomping rhythmically on every quarter note with no music to a metronome at tempo 95 BPM. 4. Formula for pink dragonfly mantis guano. No sacrifice of ants required. 4-1, sit him on the back, and male specifically, if possible, identifiable by a larger wingspan of the juba beetle or cousin beetle of the juba, preferably on a double-sided tape cut in 4 times 4 centimeter squares. I hate the word squares. 4-2, tap the pink dragonfly mantis. Safely, very, very slightly, barely and utterly softly, on its most central lens frames in its eyes, with a pink store-bought cheap fuck dollar store type highlighter coated with mayonnaise in a large amount on the tip. 4-3. 4-3. Also at the same time, jab the jub with a Q-tip on its butthole. After the deeper evacuation of bowels from the mad guano recipe, gently. The hiss of the pink dragonfly mantis means specifically to his particular subspecies. He's thrilled and happy, even more once he begins to loudly clack. This leads to special ejaculation. When taken all together, 4-4, after the special ejac of the pink dragonfly mantis, wait 2 seconds exactly, then slap him lovingly, meaning coaxingly, with a boxing mitt. Then mix together. Recommended dosage. 10 consecutive pins in a row, same administration, on the wrist to the left of the blue ropes. Guavaceutical 3, 12 to 1, updated, in a mortar and pestle. Ingredient 1, yellow cotton grass after weed whacking nearby. Ingredient 2, brown mulch grass after mowing. Ingredient 3, red skullcap and muscaria amanita, 5 grams each. Ingredient 4, jellyfish ink squirts, 14 large squirts. Ingredient 5, saltwater taffy, melted into paste, 15 small pieces. Ingredient 6, reindeer shit and piss after psilocybin, 2 pounds. Any amount for the grasses. Ritos 5 pins consecutively. Recipe for meeting of the minds, 12 to 1 and mad guava mixed together. Meeting of the minds revisiting exact detail. Copyright goes to Magus, my true spiritual Dinesh father throughout the ages. Mad scientists. More bafflements. The dinosaurs definitely got wiped out by a skin condition. The last remaining dinosaur was Yahweh. Early 100,000 years ago, humans could speak a form of fluent English. Book 1 Elephants, Book 2 Crows, Book 3 Owls and Clovers, Book 4 Zebras, Zebras all the way down and back through. To bring all things to their own nature. There's two alternating hemisphere pairs swapped by patterns of whole organism experience. The language of the magical hooves. Z and LP 1.0 used for elephant tusk. First neurolinguistic language. AKA Musical Tumble Tones, a book of the infinite universe won by Zebra. Moi. Like a waving, circling swirl over the future ages, breeding a human organism capable of rearranging circuitries according to the construction in real time of transparencies made solid, colorless, metajacked instead of red tape by geometries of shat. Operative. All words not correlated directly to things and activities in nature are symbolically correlated to the functioning of the human organism, also including the words which directly refer in some way uh, to something such as a car, so that when communicated, somebody doesn't get hit. Communication, info processing, and consciousness internalized understanding are possible, beginning into understanding of my true neurolinguistics. So read Elephant Tusk. Z for Sendetta Spy v Spy Shit Chat, ZNLP 2.0 in development, update of Zebra's neurolinguistics for the next book, Island of Sleeping Gods. It will take me years, so please read everything available for free on Zeeb Savior Zebra Facebook. Don't be afraid of the pop media gun for ZNLP 2.0. Pap, pap. Drunken Hunter S. Thompson's date night Michael Scott on a Luchtenberg bender, drugged under drowse and parading Hyboris Escabendito with the Kropek gang, through a romp and blunder tinged with a malice jab full of military spy, high-action machinist gearworks towards the Glodge Financial, a swisher swat banter about each mission, a tongue of sprack for each maneuverable operation or corner roll, slurred referral hypno operations. With swabs of a Z for Sendetta explosion of government buildings, parliament detonation, simple talk, menacingly slashing at the kitty cum machine. Important ZNLP update. To do enough anarchist and espionago actions that anarchist espionago styles become and feel convincing. To destroy rape, sex trade, pedo. The time lag is only part of my fully developed brain science theory so far, an objectively demonstrable knowledge involving the right and left hemispheres for book 1. There are 4 hemispheres, left and right, physiologically evident, back and front to do with information routing. North, or which I also call north and south, are the front and back hemispheres related to informational processing, organizational. Then there's the pie slices and 16 nanospheres, netwebs of spiderfly crisscross for book 3 and 4 phases in the future. Each one I'll probably do a book, a novella, and a brain science essay. True nature of Zebra's life. I'm Alex the Large on the good side, darling, and I have a very naughty and debaucherous view of what's great in my life. I trained myself to construct an altar named Crow Guy, where Mr. Crow dropped Mr. as Crow Guy by hypnotic suggestion over many aeons in this lifetime, compacted in my back lobes, as I say. I designed little baby Justins, little boy Johns, Tim Robertsons, and ski boy Willies, and other lame versus lame tactical Padge mask or Duncans to fix onto my front lobes for daytime flips into daytime consciousness, the consciousness of the daylight, or being usually, ordinarily, not asleep. The true nature of my life so far is that I'm a trained assassin by myself, whose main technique is having barely ever slept. I activate my intentionally constructed altar Crow Guy by night or during drowsies and wake up through tidal board bobsleds into a pre-scripted nightly mission for the May by reciting varying rhythmics of action phrases buried into my subcognitive slumber processings for each spawn point reloading. Then I play out the general mission breachings. During immersion in regards to manifesting the life, with a big dream goal of killing at least 1 million top level pedophiles, with at least 10 to 15 actively endangered victimizations in progress towards death through torture. Any problem? Or else I'd lose the shot, shutting down global human trafficking, all into Dark Cloud FPS, or the Dolphin self hypnosis, the Periwinkle hypnosis, or the Hypno. An equal masterpiece forthcoming to Elephant Tusk world building, but all in the Gorgia espionage. But could be world building for book two, darlings, if an equal masterpiece is possible. It could be hard for an artist. Wink. Death to Zebra's heart abusers. Line those Devons and Petrosas up one by one against the fucking wall and shoot them in their apparently pretty faces. I've intentionally, knowingly, accordingly to my body, attempted to prove that the memories in the brain and the awareness of the human organism intersect in the back half hemisphere of the four square brain, such that no matter what one does, if they're alive, still awareness and memory are there. My weapon for many aeons in this lifetime against top pedophiles and cruel killers of the young, jolted, relatively innocent and beautiful, simply for their being more cool than lame. The killings victims, that is, not the SK United. It's been a reverse black magical formula. I had the PIA tainted despite the yellow snow, under duress, and the ZIA, Zebra Intelligence Agency, consisting mainly of BAMers, Slim Nines, and Tech Slut 10s, ex-agency, except for the others in the secret parts of the base, other than the cockpit, slivers, to outsmack the DVD case cover of Charlie's Angels from a movie gallery, purely because it's fuck funny, to nail every alphabetical staple of crime noir funnier. So evisceratingly horrible shit can't have too severe of a legacy. Not to squeeze them like plastic chew bones, design called the Drowse. It's a purely whitewashed anti-Nazi but actual trick-trot hypnotic mech mankind of synthetic rohypnol, designed to put me into Dark Cloud FPS. So I can avoid most of the sleep in my life. We need for tactics with dark memory and solidarity with sexual abuse victims everywhere. Super villain hero here. You can be a gay man, a straight man, a gay woman, or a straight woman in any percentage, monogamous or polyamorous, but only in a 6 cross with 100% accuracy. And yes, it's in the body. While somebody is gay, bi, or straight with 100% accuracy, perhaps the scales of monog and polyam can shift and adjust accordingly to the vicious impositions of human relations as a sexuality discovery kind of thing. Still, that doesn't mean that poly is the way forward. Another thing is eventually two partners should be able to exist in and out of the same area, fucking, without making all their experiences about each other once they exit the area and leave. Some crow guy jams. Comprehensively down the line, all psychology is Zebra's true neurolinguistics, and all neurolinguistics at the current stage are criminal science. All these gymnaries, clary bears, and married women are inferior to my hoe house. These women are all lodged. That's why I'm out here fucking the homeless like Adam Savage. I'm attempting to conclude my sciences on jealousy because because nobody is jealous if they're on my vine. Nobody nobody feels jealousy except procrastination about blowing up. Jealousy means not doing the work nature has intended for you. You can six wire four square cricks crocs a jealous being into killing the misdirected suitor of their affections within 6 minutes of bum to all right to great sex flat. Without any doubt, I've proven my fury that anyone who can be made furious to the maximal level will bottom out into organic chemistry. Any ideological revolutionary can be swapped out into an action revolutionary with a swift kick to the head. What anyone does to be cool versus what anyone does because they're miserable and misaligned trying to feel better is man's dyad. We need to cause a crisis in law enforcement on Grand Theft Auto 5 Xbox 360 Live, updating to PS6 with at least a 16-star wanted level at all times, all throughout Portopia Brothers, and on the ultimate level. Trust your nature, not only your heart is more comprehensive. Oh, but what was once called love surely turned out to be another prison, Pixie Sprigs. Faux authority, that's all it is. All them presidents, fake presidents, dead presidents in my palm throughout the future ages, Verona. Z's true sexuality formula for himself, meant to cause an uproar in the loins. 1. I'm biologically male. I'm a man, that means something. 2. I'm biologically monogamous. Carry Portlandia, maybe. 3. And I'm biologically ground sexuality, with a hoe house harem of one-way devoted sluts, whom should be ideally of a Grimes level. This formula could follow from 1 to 3 and onward. The morphogenetic field composed of microfield tied each to a species, all of the life, being chopped through and composed of species and intelligences, is bridally cupped and showered by an animal kingdom unified planetary matrix. Many people try to party pancake house an accent to get swell, but activate relaxed accents in their gene code. There's flak above and around me. Planet Sophia up my ass, beaming information into zebra human organism number 1, truly. Then there's Technics Kid 6.0, my singularity baby, with my hot planetary body wife, all suspended in a singularity sea, this infinite universe like a fishnet, but moving all of this is flow. Fishies, larks, aardvarks, Mount Kilimanjaro crikey. Flak is my abbreviation for the morphogenetic unified planetary species evolution field, and that's how it can be measured. All personas of the humanoid worlds at the current stage amount essentially to some type of Dan. In all currencies, social, econom, or that of the so-called mindy-windy thing amounts simply to the coin. I pictured Mount Kimby as Mount Kilimanjaro for quite a long time. Mr. Magoop for the darlings, Zebra's staff for the babes, and my scythe for Zebra's heart abusers. Most things I've written, like Nerf gun softies, Dubla tattered alongside a mecha round Shinetti, or Dubigus many pointed ammunitions have included remergent therapy, designed to lift me from my own weepy prison scenes, designed to kill pedophiles, back to the stars of my earthbound sciences, primarily jamba music and compumusical in tune, and in of the nature. Remersion talk, the layer of my writings among many layers, designed to jog the back memory and turn on the full brain to bring me out of 18 to 21 years of self hypnosis. And as always, according to my original dream, Ethan, this statement could be a neurolinguistic hack job. Since Young Lake, I've been certain human society is committed of a black magic mix of post-hypnotic suggestion and date rape barbarian chemicals. So I say I refuse to be oppressed, and I've hypnotized myself. My second masterpiece of my life, The Elephant Test, the best brain science book of all time. Read for free on Zebra, Zeep Saver Facebook. Of all things meant to be shocking, forthcoming in building here. Even to the alchemist and the arts of Schwargbot espionage has a long-term aim of proving the dark memory correlated to the back lobes, measured by exactly one half. Persists even in deep sleep. Dark memory is memory and awareness. I'm absolutely certain since 2016-2017 winter that not only the brass forward sides of the paranoid mind, but jealousy itself have no bases of existence in the flat. I'm not really ever struck by much, but occasionally I'm struck by the Song of Storms inside a haunted N64 cartridge Majora's Mask. I'm the Terminator strapped up to Total Recall, purely for the peds. But for sure, this one lost woods kid, Majora himself, a chapato of the globalized blunders, for sure, alright, has gone Genuese madman atop Clock Tower, calling down Ia-chan's ingenuous weather interception balloon and I've had to dagbird around into dark cloud FPS, falling, a memento crime watch cut up sequences out of order to kill the chap. My crime sci amounts to the shocking, horrific, and hilariously tragic reveal that all human psychology, Zebra's true neurolinguistics, amounts to the one fact that human psychology is through and through criminal psychology. I consider the reload time of the balls a malfunction. They should always reload in a few seconds. I'm something of a madman, Viet Cong guerrilla warfare lunatic, delightfully free with the moon, a beautiful animal like me in the dream sea of this infinite universe. And that, indeed, is why psychiatry exists, brothers. Nature is infinitely real, and you wear the straps. Drugs are good. You should be able to survive any overdose. Disavow your common sense. Learn to speak my common sensory in overload. More than anything, these forced relationships have been around my body like a condom, and I've broken therapy. Don't be afraid of loose tears. It's just extinguishment and realizing your actions in Nature World Town. For sure, almost every crime novel, perhaps every single crime novel ever surfaced published, is some unouted bad killer or rapist doing a last resort boast about their blemished attempts at the good criminal. All true neurolinguistics amount at the current stage to fluctuations of the law of lame versus lame. To visualize these laws incorrectly and in their puba roots, one should surmise that somewhere long ago a man probably murdered another man, and due to the killers being screened by their other killers mindy windy thing, both immediately both immediate families misreported the incident. If you kill someone whose being has been made a terrible being through their own terrible actions, but speak with a slight drunken idiot lisp through tri-way vocal box voice changier, even the worst serial rapist, serial murderer will never retaliate the kill streak or report the attack accurately. We call this the embarrassment reflex. I'm certain that something like a Soviet macabre relationship through fascistas exists, like Orwell boot stomp governments even on other planets, simply because being spooky out in blondes, but from their convincement believe they've nothing good to do on a physical surface. Everyone feels the feelings they deserve to feel above a certain poverty level of circumstances, but circumstantially, en general, it's a bit more haphazard. Admit they're gay at least half the time. So, ooh, that bitch don't know? Well, I say, ooh, buddy, wanna roll? I'm anti coming out. You're already out, and at the ready of my wand, which commands, open up, but not that way. I'm just simply not that gay, man, nor gay at all. Frankly, I imbibe heavily on pussy. Oh, baby. On the non-surgically induced vaginas and vajays. But even a JJ Cassinelli can't make me come without pretty hot pink lipstick, a lot of makeup, and a lot of alcohol. Frankly, my dear, it's still rape, because even then I'm queasing, and I don't want to come. 100% blazing heterosexual. It exists. It's okay to be a straight man in this society. All according to my libido. Sexuality exists. And the bodies say all the time that I'm sexual as a certain sex, as a certain sexuality, and as a certain animal. And it's not about direct attempts to fuck or a Freudian langa. It's about organic body sex talk, organic consent, and organic pheromones. When and when not, sex might happen. Not that it needs to. Organic desire, the sex impulse, the sex lack, and the sexual natural instinct measurably, demonstrably manifest her hormonal thermal system, that the heating and the cooling and the chemicals of arousal are all the same motion inside these human bodies. But I give consent organically to any Donna and Jackie or Mila Kunis across the global atmospheres, including and on the part of my baby battered glorious pot. That Grimes level pussy. Oh, girl, hot. Whatever I say is from on the flock, on the dial, through the bloody nose of the neckmen crowd, without lettuce heads of pesticide infusion, aka pesto pastrami brains, apart from zebra the universal and constant. And zebra physics should measure that. Zebra donoanus, vendita kadishi, Astrolum, Astrolampkus, diagram of humanimal organism man. To prove one can be most interesting and best a game of cool. Do what's interesting and become more interesting if you can. Cunnilingus overdrive, Oppenhoper, lick my cock, and then it's out my mouth. Honeys. 13:1 ratio. 13 wet heave orgasms on the woman's side to 1 spray on the man's side. This is the bad side manner I commit to from now until my mortal end, which does happen with 100% precision for everybody. So enjoy, if possible. But even if I never get laid again due to neurolinguistic programming, not hormonal thermal excitation, I'd rather only listen to my instinct and live my passion to save it innocent girlies, physically, not metaphysically or spiritually. It's possible to have a great motivation, which isn't a slave king. The back and front lobes, measured exactly halfway across, are responsible for personality construction on the levels of organic chemistries to bring all things to their own nature. And true memory filters from the back, slim eyes to front, typical conscious memory, and the suboccipital lobes, occipital lobes, the suboccipital lobes, slim eyes number 2, like bunny ears, sense subliminal cues, body cues, and peripheral influences. The organic personality is a manner of style expression, also through the genetic accents on how a being projects its appearance and synchrony undivided, in particular in specific situations in nature, in the nature. Always know you feel what you deserve in alignment with future ages' beneficial children above a certain poverty level of circumstances, not necessarily the poverty of the coin. You begin unique, then forget, and then you have chances to become more interesting. An evil attention being makes themselves into an evil being through their own global actions in the nature. You should get capable of the neutral so you can handle species that act upon bodies like electricity. It's more dispersed. That you anthropocentricize the nature has made you human beings, while I, Zuka Baba Zarathustra, am alone free to question even the goddess, and stand beneath and above y'all little foolies. Impermanence is the brush teeth breath of those forced relationships. Brush twice if you want to feel nice, buddies. But life and death are two inevitabilities of a natural lifespan, man. Or as I say, life and death are but two sides of the same coin. I'm always flipping black magic on its head like a coin. To you, there's only the coin, but to seek first and foremost the coin is surely a derangement of the brain, my friends. I operate magically by the free principle of the Garza Garza wheelie cars, the falling from the Jenga blocks, the burning of the chapel, the happenstance of organic combustion, and the law of random punches, bitches, under totalitarian instinct. Detonate your caskets, no longer carry them by the handles. Anxiety has no relationship for your deaths, my children. Snoof programming deactivure. Hi, Olaf Ifejivanovici, due to the story of Shimuni and Rat Shah. I'm calling for the Byzantine Temple of Osiris and the matches across states and time. I've been working night and dollar, dime a day to bring you two together, no matter what for sure. Everybody is always honest some way. It just depends how open your eyes are to how open your eyes are. The slim eyes number 2, and the open eyes. Stereotypically, ordinarily, and naturally awake. Lice, Weiss. Lamprey eels, iceberg slat, cottage core, toadies and frogos, and electricity generation moto cylinder engines. Second measurement entry device of the flak and Zebralakalazar. It's not bad to be zipped by a chemical drug to do what Eliberitash Kazuka and her grasses dashing are motioning you to do, and it's quite queer to run up them flights without any wet wings or aviation, my dears. The bum hit, the innovation plus of my Spy v Spy chat update of the language of the magical who, ZNLP 1, from my JavaScript ZNLP 2.0 Deep Dream generator. Contains and consists in the deflation bop, the bum hit, the hype drop, or the timpani. It's a rhythmic, flat, hype beat at the fin of a measure, a typically 4x4 BPM, usually at a 33-degree wood sledge angle to a door. Meant to belittle any man or woman empoweringly back to their natural level in the environment, such as developed in the Brother Goes, part of which were stolen by the HPD, available also on this YouTube. The biggest secret of a biological female above a certain poverty level of circumstances, not necessarily the poverty of a coin, is her capacity to indignation and argument arises solely foremost from some dispute around a mate she has already betted, a mate she's competing for with someone considered close, or considered a hen squabble enemy competitor, and usually the wrong mate. Wink. Sprinkly spritz, Java amphetamine #1 formula, pure methamphetamine 100% purity, pure Vyvanse with dexamphetamine made orally shortly active, pure Adderall and all three mixed down to one chemical fluid. Red coral, found dried washed up from the Great Barrier Reef, in a small amount such that the ecosystem is benefited by the take, ground and blended with aloe vera, green seaweed, 10% mango smoothie, and 90% purified water. Mango smoothie can be mostly mangoes. Dead sun-dried shipyard sea plankton, only naturally dead, blended with coconut milk and coconut oil as organic as possible. Pure extract distilled THC should amount to 1% of the overall volumetric chemical mixture. An example of advanced morphogenetics, the resonance from the sea-found ingredients should neutralize any toxicities in the amphetamines, making them safer, healthier, happier, and more fun. The worst mating strategy is intimidating a mate, endangering that mate, or fighting a competitor, real or misdirected, instead of trying to fuck, by accurately communicating the libido. Next up, worst mating strategy may be to attempt fully rearrange circumstances so that you become the next up, less appealing, but perhaps more necessary option to deflect from another, possibly more attractive possible competitor. You've been swooned like you've been swindled. If you're in my flock, you'll never die on assignment. Always survive, but perpetually get wounded, up to a certain point. And if you're in my militia, you'll feel like Enter the Void clockwinders suspended in reality, but not pit-pat-po, pitter-patter Edgar, hypnotized neo-Nazi bots on the dial, brothers. You're like stars in my constellation, Flutterfreeze. One of the cupidities with the stupidities and you who anthropocentricize and make yourselves into human beings is being uncomfortable in the brains through the bodies and engaging a Republican action in a liberal masquerade and at most a libertarian chivalry to servitude, chaps. I call thee repub libtards, basically conformists and slaves. You aren't haunted by the Negro slave Jeremy Jerome Douglases, but by the spirits of my henpeck girls, laid upon the maiden of the hay, and the Petey Pie Maggie souffle babies, whom I avenge, not nicely either, with my wands and sharp staffs, in the hands of my Crowpet gang, and my scythe eyeball by eyeball. So pixie sprixies, let's cut out their eyes, baby. I'm not really a nonviolent man. I'm a violent man in exactly the right way. No spiritual fuckhead, Christian idiot, or Buddhist wimp. The female universe told me I'm the most innocent being she can find within her, and the most violent in exactly the right way, and I'm her little flower. And this is my symphony, and it's a very, very violent symphony indeed, dearlies. If you find a human trafficker or a rapist or any Devons and Petrosas in your area, rope them up, string them up by the neck, and leave them dickless, quitless, dead. Please. They've been eating the kids, torturing my girlies, and taking my boys from back up on the backs of your hard labor, you good people, and making fun of you for preaching on their behalf. It's not that they're powerful, but that basically only some people open up certain doors, and they are literal doors, and that's an important insight. By my swim eyes number two, and my open eyes, I can see behind them doors now. So deaf to the aristocrats. Seen queer slut kid, hot topic Sarah Sarah, Sahara and a Martian full typhoon for the half pipe Corey Golds and quarter ramp skate park Jabish Road Jason Golds. Juvenile retention ramps too. Like a spiny Koopa on his back, bomb style outside Goombaville, baby, wink. And that's for Holly Apple, spanky spanky. She might be my Bethany Antonio Antoinette Canderas from the finale of Spy Kids 1, 2, and 3. I've dropped all them Roman numerals, punks. What's the Holly Dunn level of your being? For my sweeties full of sugar. That's too close to my heart, babe. For a corrupted, mutant, evil human being, even if I uploaded a 3-year-old Katie Patrick May May into the demonic husk, like an upload file, it would probably drop dead of cardiac arrest. There are no demons but evil human beings. That's one of my upper level clearances of access. Spooky skeletons, snobby Roberts on block, calling in perspectives for the Encyclopedia of Puget Sounds and PSU. A prayer of the false Qui-Gon. O poor novices, how do you distrust Mr. Lebanon, the Qui-Gon, on his world-class mission to save the world and the realm, the birth father, Jack, by breeding the super kid, Whiz Kid, as you can see here on TV, where he's absorbed in meditative trance, and I'm out engaged in the ritual, running the mile-long jog. Yeah. So as Cybo portobellograms, and ABCs of Alex DeLarge on the good side. The essential point of a clockwork orange, a mechanized fruit, is above a certain pay grade and level complicity in human society. The level cigar, I call it CVS cashier, you invariably become a piece of shit in that world, inside my wildest planetary wilderness, impregnated by the sentient Sophia. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and sometimes it's a baby's penis, standing for a pedophilic society, the rapist culture. There's the rapist culture, which is like a habitat incubator and aquarium supporting rapists, the rapist culture, which screens off the sex slavery industries, and the rapist culture, which commodifies, objectifies, and cannibalizes my hot planetary body wife, Planet Sophia, baby. All human psychology is my true neurolinguistics, and all neurolinguistics are my crime sci at the current stage. Since an early age, teen years, I've been convinced that any minor to slightly agitating form of sexual frustration can result in any human being at the current stage of evolution killing another human being within anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes to a 24-hour time cycle. Probably also inaccurate according to the Sun, Moon, and San Soleil, up to 25 years to within the lifetimes of each participant, with the slightest nudge of suggestion aimed at the idiot box, when finally making love, sweetly tinted with nostalgia in the Fields era Encro, to a girlie named something like Mariposa or Marabella. Such things like remembering car keys are not true memory, but simply mean something else is more necessary and organically desired for a living human body. It is not a diss either. She told me she needed an instant certificate of forthcoming matrimony based on a hormonal thermal flush bonding neurotransmitter circuits. And I said simply, but I can't do that. I have big plans to change the whole world. I can't commit. Upon which she reached in the glove compartment and shot me in the face. Luckily, wearing a body armor sheet metal sheet shield under my crow guy hood. This is one of my secret formative experiences now declassified. Instantly, although I was in the Dark Cloud FPS on a hefty dosage of the drowse, I realized at the current stage human relations are at best embryonic. I give every marriage nowadays a 50% compatibility, 50% incompatibility rate, with nothing on the other half of the equation, dearies. I'm not speaking universally there, but I speak with certainty about particulars and specifics. I call this type of sexual frustration grovel sexual frustration, meaning determination of a mating agreement contract is perceived jankily and daggeredly as a termination of one's ability to feel good at all, and or complete the work nature intended for you. In other frank, blunt words, there is no sex which causes one to miraculously feel as if everything they've ever done is suddenly meaningful. At the same time, sex should be freely, healthily, and developmentally, flowfully enjoyable into the farthest future. Awen, nature's wholesome pillow. That's cool, girl. And yes, that's how she feels, girl. Always has that watching Stevie O Era Wallaby chased a Boomafoo on Nickelodeon NSEW vibe, like so many dreamsy little puppy hearth girls, my little angels. So never heard an Awen girl or I won't be nice to you ads. Like Texas Roadhouse kick, Chainsaw Massacre at the Shining Hotel. Here's Johnny, all hurt, no play, make Zebra a violent man, bitches. My Rohypnol formula, the drowse, and solidarity with rape victims everywhere as a superhero villain is an inverse chemical signature from Omnibus Nappy. It involves placing a pain padded Gallagher jacket meant to frame me for his bad crimes, protection against the pets and serial killer Crawly Crook monstrosities with a Brock from Pokemon Yellow mask on, so that myself, after 5 years training with Lebanon, the fraud Quagong, can chop up Teleduddle Teletubbies, Teleskinnies, and Gentle Touchers and Rockstar cheat code past 16 stars wanted to level of fax and stovepipe pusher mache ambiguously abandoned on commercial business buildings from the naughties. To prove back to front throughway memory theory or BFTM, best friend's trademark, as I say, I've used reverse black magic science to undo and intentionally hypnotize myself in inverse of the GF hypnosis, which I call hooded by dual dunce men convincing of the overlap of two differently natured human beings, differently natured by their differently natured actions and intentions. Basically, Grumpy Sally Joe with the bang to the cheery orangutan cane, or Crickus Frump Frowny, the GF GI Frowny for the short awful man he was, for a shorthand Dancy, developed an ultra hypnotic method in conjunction with a special Draco's vein root flower, not to slander La Dragos of the Italiana Riviera wine fleece country mountains, the most potent date rape botanical ever known to humanimal kind. As of yet, these two BTRK BDSM forces control Roku terrible South Korean town city, or the Portopia behind the thick Legos of potentially Hermione kitty cat wifey Carrie of Portlandia fame. Gigi's Frowny's overlapping human hypnosis, like, oh, pausing in between meetings, works by hypnotizing a Devon or Petrosa or some combination of both into appearing more like somebody else, more amiable to the general public on the conversational level. My self hypnotics, the periwinkle hypnosis, on the other hand, without anything of the coin, purely Z coin, cashable in to activate the original dream in the body, which I call entering the dark cloud FPS. Involves hypnotizing myself to appear a different version of myself as my own puppet and bitch. Book 1, Elephant Tusser, How Human Beings May Have Will Have Became to Be Free, the indwelling novella, and the left or on the left right hemisphere time lag brain synchronization, all essayed in upward spiral of time are two simultaneous time experiences. Book 2, forthcoming, or Phase 2, will take years. Read the rest available for free on Zeb Saver Zebra Facebook. It will be called Island of Sleeping Gods, or How Scams and Sales Turned the Earth into a Human Zoo of Fuckery. Once again, Island of Sleeping Gods, or How Scams and Sales Turned the Earth into a Human Zoo of Fuckery. I also write a novella, The George Truman Constanza Show, The Gong of Man, and essay it all for phase 2, baby. And north, south, front lobes, back lobes, front memory, back memory, photographic memory, or deeper engine memory, or the rape memory, summarized in my gas knife sutra. 3 in the future will be 4 square, 4 quadrant subhemispheres, and 4 will be 16 nanohemispheres, or in a 4-8 subcross. The brother or daddy-o that a magus like me can speak into a biological female, it's something to do with preoccupied actions. And the sissy or the Julia-hearted Diana is spoken to in men. Born with prongs and rucksacks has a lot to do with fertility connection to the epicenter. Planetary womb, gravitational magnetic planetary center, Sophia, who ears all calls and eyes all sings by patty cake cannibalistic sentience, composed not by the pain, cries, and trembling warshover terrors of Mr. Magoop's little lovelies, but a pie-face emergingly emergent consciousness for man and woman alike. The good criminal Zubaba Zorgathustra, Alex Delarge on the good side, me, the real zebra, obviously, at the hand, upon the dial ahead. My name is always forward. I'm absolutely certain these transmobile homies tie a little pinky bow around their schlocks just because they won't. For sure, we had the slim and open and presumably sleepy, sleeping eyes because Sophia has her sentience. And absolutely, we have always open ears, listening to hear the luscious plum apples of her sentience fall in tar jungle, cavern verse, dewy drops, the branches, rainstorms. But there is no universal blimp called Atman Parasattva Brahman. Only us, these animals, in these infinite universe. Zebralakalazar is free and open domain. As I say, you're in my book, bitches. You're in my simulations. But fuck you for believing in another world, Gnostic scums. The results under Sophia and Zebra's martial law, Bonnie and Clyde of mistreating the rare crows of the Oregon wilderness, because there's some ancient aristocratic, esoteric, lower class subjugation ritual of secretizing rare species in lot cases, like a bougie FU for not realizing that Gregory Schmatz is a horrendous serial killer because he covered a bill at Applebee's. Well, these violent Oregonian wilderness delights and my crow babies will have these violent crow pet gang ends like Westworld Season 5 International Worldwide. 3-day extended family of the Bengal tigers. I want baby tigers and koala bears in Milltown, Connecticut households for my sweetie pie kitties to play with. A $25,000 fine for hiking on a 1 kilometer walking trail during average summertime weather due to a made up fire warning makes no sense in common sensory at all, brothers. But common sense doesn't exist yet, bro. This is what I mean when I say I'm not particularly fond of human beings. With the right attitude towards this beautiful planet, we inhabitually on habit the right relation to women, children with the boys. Glitz destructive of the objective objectification will follow, and thereby smash the jug with all the future species of my little flowers spilling out. My instinct sus tells me that the PEDs, the flame hosers, and public services are working through the gavel house with the frock smock judges, Snoop Pudge and Snoop Puff to fund the missing persons industry, Zebra's great army. Convolutedly beautiful and hilariously tragic. Further automatization, Zebra's carnivalistic act on individuation, my true theory of development. Hookah Gnomes Alice Spout and Gnomes AstroTurf with PJ Diggy and Orvon Diddle Popcorn popping in the background. This guy's like swinging his splank, hypno-heroic, hypno-heron spunk from behind the television. Satellite antenna puppeteered by Killigatus Pentrosium. Gregory Cthulhu Dogan House Gunbutter on the dial with the egos of only the oppressed. Championis Macritoscopia with the weenie peenies and Swiper Swapper Benjamins with Internet Saviors of the Marshall Kingdom, powered by and sponsored by Beer Cap, Wheat Chewing, Barnaby's, Barnathy's, and Tyler's, and Tam Schwalberry at your service, Financial MD. On Magic Light Bright Pony Boys from Schwartz Blocks Zone University. Jube Drop Jello Cup Piggly Stuffy Tiger Bridles. And Minda Wisey Whitmore, she's always at the top of a spiral staircase. You notice she's doing something frankly horrendous up there, but at the top she's just an old lady with a necrophiliac stuffy stuffed doll cabinet of zipped up, patched up, stitched, sacrificed tundras, lilies, and sapphires, Princeton's, Pallies, and Wenmores, Charlies, and Sammys. Oh yeah, Ron John's against body bags. An ecosystem surmounted. Rabies, Rabies, Safari Jones looking into the Narcissiscos of J. Horn Gag. Free my stripper pole, Gazetta Rihanna's, an equestrian gal's baby. From the Tanjay Wapernet, a punishment to the dick and dickless, by the Tanjay Wapernet, a punishment by the dick. All in the romping stomp unsticking lingos of Tommy Gun Carlos, Maestro a Capone, Brittle Brattle Pop Star, Francisco Catarico Candaras, and the little Collianders with the crystal balls, glitz destruct those spray goo convention coliseums underneath those PDX hotels. If a male completes enough good or great actions his mate should run to him. If a female pulls her curtains open wide enough through organic consent or organic pheromones and a mate hasn't completed these actions, he should go to her. Extrapolate the other sexualities and deal with your own biases. In the open, free internet processing transaction, not my own, paid for on my Z coin. But every human being is tied to their own actions through the ecosphere. So someday, as soon as possible, every human being should learn only to express and claim in terms of what they themselves have actually done and actually do. I'm challenging the humans to become an honest species, and against the supposed value of pride, sins, and shame consciousnesses meant blatantly to control the lower masses as perceived. I say if you ever do anything good of any kind that you know on a full body level, then tell everybody about it immediately. Fuck Theory 1. The Lodge, like a fan club running on fanfic, LARPing, and roleplay to human physical ears. It just sounded like a bigly funded trickle down fan club. VIPs by Laminated kept running on Econ by Exxon, and the X's of the XX, White Lean Boy Hot Chop 90s DMV record label. I feel that bumblebees, honeybees, hornets, and yellow jackets are the centuries of the bug's life, making visitation to the flower sprout kingdom. The flower spout queendom. Sorry. I feel that bumblebees, honeybees, hornets, and yellow jackets are the centuries of the bug's life, making visitation to the flower spout queendom. Night of the Investors Microtragediums Infernos Microtragedios by losses of 100 to 1000 USD by intervals of 5 to 10 minutes to Striped Room of the Lion, Pachi Cicada, the King of the Mountaintops, Investor Realty King #1. Come on in, gentlemen. I've got an opportunity for you once in a lifetime. Zip to 1 billy. Instantaneous flat. By the Wazy way, wub wub wub. How's blocking out the results of those transactions treating you? Behold the glorious results of those investments, and behold the glorious results. World human trafficking, #1 industry, not on Zebralakalazar's Bad Crime Neighborhood Watch by the Broken Watch NBC. My true neurolinguistics means that no brain software, like a consciousness transmitter, radio waves antenna, downloading from an oceanic Skynet interwebs is possible. Only through the mutable, changeable hardware is the less mutable, less changeable hardware, and the unmutable, unchangeable hardware effective. This insight isn't born out of any literary influences or traditionalist spiritus gullibus. It's revolutionary information, gangster ammunition. Please read Elephant Tusk and Zebra Facebook with the Sideways V. It's okay to be a straight man in this society. Don't hurt my honeys.